What's up, everybody? Ben Rasa here for Odd Chopper, ready to talk all things Super Bowl. Why not? I know we got plenty of time till the big game, but it's never too early to talk about how do we go about betting this game? How do we go about trying to make some money? How do we go about getting the most fun, the most entertainment out of the Super Bowl? And that's what this video is going to be. Some Super Bowl tips, some tricks, maybe you could call it, for people who are maybe new to betting, kind of beginning, maybe betting the Super Bowl for the first time. Your state just came online. That is what we were here to do. We're going to talk about the game and certainly talk about all the options available for Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs and the Eagles. If you like what you see, you enjoy this channel, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. I want to get right off the bat, if you're looking for picks and parlays and everything in between, we got plenty of those videos. But here I'm going to talk a little more general about all the types of bets, the sides, the totals, the props, the entertainment things that we have, and see what we can find. So let's dive into it and start to talk about this Super Bowl. So of course, first things first, we've got the Chiefs, we've got the Eagles. Right now, the main bets. What are the most popular Super Bowl bets? Well, of course, we've got the side and the total and the money line. Let's run through those quickly just so you get a feel for the main options if you want to keep it really simple. If you want to pick the winner of the game, no points involved, that's the money line. You got the Chiefs plus 110, meaning for $100, you would get back $110 for your wager. The Eagles at minus 130, you would have to bet $130 to win 100 if they win the game. That's a money line. The total, how many points will be scored between the two teams? 49.5. If you think 50 or more points, you want to go over, under 49.5, that would be the under, 49 or less points. And then, of course, the spread. It's a pretty competitive number. The Eagles are sitting at around 2-point favorites. That means that if you bet them, they have to win by 3 or more points. If you bet the Chiefs, if they win the game, you're good. If they lose by 1 point, you're good. 2 points would be a push. So very, very simple things there. Again, those are very common bet types that we can get to. And I think it is important to talk about that right off the bat. If you are new to betting, you want to understand, what are my options? And those are 3 great options to keep it very simple. You can sit back, enjoy the entire game for a couple dollars, and you get your sweat. I'm going to get into some props in just a second, but I do want to say, for a lot of people who are checking out the channel for the first time, maybe betting for the first time, DK Sportsbook has an offer for new users. The link is in the description of this video. It is super simple. You see it right there. 5 into 200. You go there, you click it. You throw in your $5, bet it on any market. I assume you're going to go Super Bowl. That's probably what I would do, but you don't have to. You could bet basketball, golf, anything else. You're going to get that $200, and then you are freed up to really have some fun, to really take some chances, and hopefully maybe hit a score and build that bankroll right at the beginning. A great opportunity, and one that, I can't say it strongly enough. If you are serious about having some extra money to play with and take some parlay chances and things like that, this is a great way to do it. You have to be 21 plus in a legal betting state. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, player props. This is the next kind of market that has emerged, and man, are there a lot of things to break down. Say you don't want to talk sides, Chiefs or Eagles, but you say, I love Patrick Mahomes. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. You have bets specifically on these players, over or under their passing yards. So you can project how many yards you think they're going to throw. How many touchdowns will they have? How many rushing yards? And it doesn't stop there. This is one of the differences between the Super Bowl and every other game. In a normal game, you get your quarterback, maybe your top receiver, your running back, a couple other players. In the Super Bowl, everyone has a player prop. They will be coming out throughout the week. This is an important thing that I really want to highlight. These markets are going to move quickly. These markets are going to change via injury news. These markets are going to be different across books. And that is a key component of what we should be aware of here. And I want to give a shout out to oddshopper.com, where you can quickly and easily scan these lines, compare them against books. And that is really important if you're a first-time bettor. I'll give you an example here. Jalen Hurts passing yards prop. As I film this, again, these numbers can change. Over 241.5 yards on FanDuel. That is the over-under. 241.5. I'm looking at PointsBet. The over-under for the same bet is 250.5. That is a 9-yard difference between two books, and the juice is the same. That is huge. That is something we need to take notice of. And if you are shopping those lines, you are really, really going to do yourself a service in getting the best number and getting the maximum room for that. Because if he lands on, say, 245 yards, depending where you bet it, if you bet the over, you would win on FanDuel and lose on PointsBet. And that's just one example. All these books, DraftKings, all of them, you want to shop those numbers and get those opportunities. So things to be aware of course. Understanding what bet that you're doing, shopping the lines, courtesy of OddsShopper, of course. I can't recommend that strongly enough either. And then realizing, don't get crazy early. I know, listen, if you have unlimited money, go ahead, fire away. But there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of bets on the Super Bowl. Some I do think are great to jump on early. Some of our first look bets have just that. You want to be aware of what is coming later in the week. Things that will make a difference. We have to wait on the injury props, things like that. Now, I will say a couple other things on player props before I move to the third category, which I think is the most fun, novelty props. But for player props, if you are building same game parlays, a super popular way to make multiple bets into one for a chance for a big payout. So say you pick 3 or 4 player props. That is going to be known as a same game parlay. They all have to hit, but if you do hit it, you're going to see your odds go through the roof and potentially have a big payoff. A very popular, think of that more as a lotto ticket type, depending on how many you're making. I'm not going to say don't do it because it's incredibly fun. I would caution people that your chance of success is much lower, but it's the Super Bowl. There's massive opportunities, and there are so many lines available. I do think it's not a bad idea to explore some of those types of bets. Same game parlays, we will have that available on the channel as well. Now, talked about the game, the side, the total, talked about some player props and how big the discrepancies can be. We're going to talk about novelty props as well. And I do want to say, as we get closer to the game, if you have questions on this, I am happy to take a look. The team here, all available in our insider access, aka our Discord. Link below. You hop in there, you sweat the big game. We're all going to be in there watching it, no doubt about it. And it's not just us, the community as a whole. Just a great time. We all root together. We're throwing around plays. Maybe we take some live betting during the game. A lot of ways to get your money's worth and have some entertaining fun, if nothing else. I encourage people to at least go in and check it out. If you don't stick around, you don't stick around, but it's just a really fun community. The Super Bowl has props that no other game has. I call them novelty props. Depending on where you're located, you may or may not have some available. Things like, what will be the color of the Gatorade? Cross sports props. So like, will LeBron James have more points than, say, someone have rush yards? What a weird thing. Circumstances like that. Obviously, who will be the MVP of the game? The awards portion of it. And all of these are attackable markets. But again, you want to really drill down into what you're getting into. And the thing that I want to talk about before I bounce on out of here on these, some of them are straight numbers, like who will have more, and it's determined on the court or on the field, versus some are subjective. And what I mean by that is who will win the MVP? That is a subjective prop. There is no formula for who wins the MVP. They pick. And that is something that I actually think you want to look at historical trends for the Super Bowl. Normally, I would caution people against trends. I don't think they're overly predictive. But for subjective props, you can get a generic look at what the criteria is. So I'll give you some examples. I'm not going to pick an MVP on this video. Again, there'll be plenty of time for that. But so for the last 15 years in the Super Bowl, of those 15 years, 10 quarterbacks have won MVP. You've had a couple of defensive players as well in there. So the majority of the time, it is the quarterback. That's not breaking any news. Those 2 players are at the top of the board. One other thing with MVP specifically, if you think the Eagles win the game, do not pick Patrick Mahomes to win MVP. If you think the Chiefs take it home, do not pick Jalen Hurts to win MVP. Since 1971, 0 players from the losing team have won MVP. It only happened once in 1971. That's the only time it's happened. It hasn't happened in 50 years. It's not happening. You need the winning team's player to have a chance at MVP. So these are the little things that I think you want to look to just before you even dive into the plays. And again, I know a lot of you, this might be second nature, but I also know for plenty of people who are trying to get their feet wet and trying to get, wade into the waters of what is the craziest time of the year for sports betting. What a great opportunity with the Super Bowl if your state has come online. So I hope that some of these have at least cleared the cobwebs for all the different bets that we have, from sides, money lines, totals, player props, and then the crazy props and everything in between. But I just want to say thanks to everyone. Enjoy the big game. You'll be seeing plenty of me on this channel, dropping my picks, putting context to these type of bets. And I am so excited to see how this plays out. But for me, for the Chiefs, for the Eagles, and everything Super Bowl related, good luck. Enjoy the big game. And I will talk to you guys soon.